say there's a lot of skills you can acquire. Now, you need to have hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills to me are things like a practical trade. Like I know computer programming. I know, how to cut hair. I know how to cook sushi. Like those are practical, tangible skills. There's also these ones I call soft skills. Like I'm persuasive. People like me. I can do public speaking, all these kind of ones. Well, knowledge is the one that straddles both of those. So over the next 67 days, you're already on your way to financial freedom just by the injection of knowledge. I like to use that word because it's like a needle, Like when you're sick and dying, you haven't eaten, they put an IV and they inject nutrients right into you. That's what we're doing. And we're starting with the most fundamental, and you should love the word fundamental. It should never sound like basic to you. When someone says, Ty, I'm going to teach you a fundamental principle, I get excited. Of anything. It's like, I buy a Ferrari, and the guy's like, let me tell you a fundamental truth about this Ferrari and how to drive it and not crash. I'm excited. A lot of people are just addicted to like little tidbit advanced. They think they're advanced. Fundamental is advanced. If you don't believe me, like I said, Michael Jordan, his coach, Phil Jackson, used to make them do the same passes that 6-year-olds did. And Michael Jordan was the best basketball player in the world. They still practice the fundamentals. And the most fundamental thing is understand about financial freedom and money is that it's scarce and in-demand things. So what's going to happen over the next 67 days, you are going to start to possess the easiest of these to start with is just knowledge. And the more you know, or as Buffett says, the more you learn, the more you earn. So, 3 questions for you. Leave these, and you'll be interactive with other people in the program. I see them, and this also, as you leave these, this unlocks the next one. So, first question. It's going to be a tough question, What do you know that you've been doing for your career or making money that's not scarce? Okay? Again, that's not the simplest question. Think about it. You don't like where you are financially. That's why you come in this program. You want to go up. What about you is the opposite of these? Either, and I want to start with the first one. What about you is a skill that you possess, knowledge you possess, that everybody has? It's not specialized. It's not rare. What is it? Just list a few things like, I know how to cook. I know how to shop. I know how to make a bed. Just go through that. You'll see where I'm going with this. It's important. When I was broke, I had lots of common skills. You can't pack. It's kind of like I read somewhere say on a date, you never come back from a date and go, your friend goes, how was the date? Oh, they had 2 arms. You're not going to say it was a great date because the person had 2 arms. That's common. It's the scarce stuff. Wow, they were fascinating. They were, they made me laugh, or they were so beautiful or handsome or whatever. So what about you is just common, because what happens is our mom and dad program us incorrectly. They pat us on the back for our common skills. I wish my mom hadn't done that, It's common to have manners, right? So you can't be like, well, I have manners. I go places and I, open doors for people and I don't eat with my mouth open. That's common. But that's what you and I were programmed incorrectly because our mom's like, oh, you're doing such a good job. No, I'm going to try to deprogram myself and you in the next 67 days by going, let's list out all the common stuff. Maybe stuff you've patted yourself on the back, but you realize it's common. Millions of people. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 question below this. What do you know that's not in demand? Like only you really care. Okay? So a lot of people that's like, oh, I know my whole family and I'm good at, well, that's great. And I'm glad you know the names of your aunt and your cousin. And that will make you live a good life because it's not all about money. But we're talking in this program specifically about finances. It's not going to make you money to have a not in-demand skill of knowing your aunt's maiden name. No one cares. So list some of those out. For me, some of those things, at that point, I had been living with the Amish for 2.5 years when I was sleeping on a couch. So I knew how to milk a cow by hand. I knew how to grow corn. I knew how to ride a horse. So back then I was broke in the modern economy because no one cared. You know, it wasn't a skill. I couldn't turn that into money. And so what are some of your skills? And I'm not saying you shouldn't have them. Like if you like to ride horses, great, ride horses. It's not scarce or in demand, so that can be for your happiness. There's a lot of things you should do in life that are just for your happiness. But don't ever get it twisted up in your head and be like, well, why aren't these making me money? Why am I broke? Well, if you spend all your time riding horses, or you spend all your time having manners and not chewing with your mouth open, that's great, but you still might be completely broke. So number two, what's something you have that's in demand, not in demand, that you possess? Number three, okay, now we're turning it around on positive. What is something, and we're going to continue to develop this over this whole program, what is something that you're on the tip of possessing that's scarce and in demand? So back when I was sleeping on the couch, for me, I always was kind of good with numbers, okay? And so I realized if I could get into finance, that matched my personality. And not that many people are good at numbers, I remember. So I was like, boom. Or for me, reading, I was always like to read. So that's something scarce, and the knowledge in books is in demand. So for you, yours might be completely unrelated. It could be cooking. It could be, you know, your ability to understand maybe how to make people feel better, medical. Maybe it could be nutritionally. Maybe it could be exercise. Maybe it could be organization. What's something you're on the tip? You don't quite have it mastered yet, but it's scarce, and you could see it being in demand and turning into money for you, which will give you financial freedom. Leave that as the third one, okay? So answer those three, then that'll unlock the next lesson, okay? So talk to you soon.